Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to very cursorily go over the vagaries of these here multimeters. And by cursorily, I mean these things will put a fuck right in your whole week if and you let them. A lot of times there's some very simple mistakes are made. In the previous video, we fired up the parts cannon. That's the last resort, is throwing parts into something, seeing what exactly went wrong. We found out that the motor rotor was faulty. Now, here we're going to actually test it. And this is where you got to put your thinking cap on. You also got to get rid of the fucking looky-loos. There's something you cannot troubleshoot by committee. And part of the reason for that is because some fucking dummy thinks that being loudest is being correctest. Well, this is where a meter is going to absolutely fail you. So we'll put it in the ohm scale because we're going to check the resistance of each one of these windings in the motor. What we know are faulty. So we check our leads. Always double check your leads. We're good. Now you see the difference there? It's hopping all over the place. That's just part and parcel of me, and I'm not supposed to be touching the leads while I'm doing this, because it will measure, you know, if you're sweaty, it will measure your resistance. Okay. Luckily I'm cool as a cucumber. There we go. So problem the first. Piss poor connections on account of not having enough whiskey in your system. Got the old shakes there. What you got to do, you got to get her affixed proper in a vise so you can get in and bite into that copper. You gotta press her. Like they say en franglais. Oh oui, c'est pas ta mère, pèse là-dessus. Go ahead, it's not your mother. And we're just going to work our way around and see if there's any large differences. A large difference would indicate that there is a broken connection. So essentially, the only thing we can do with the multimeter at this stage is check for open circuits, that is infinite resistance, and short circuits, that is no resistance. You see, that's way out. So that would tell us that there's a faulty connection there. However, the faulty connection is actually in the leads. I'm not hitting it hard enough. I got to get right in there and pierce whatever kind of schmoo is on there. Then when we check it again, lo and behold, the reading is the same as all the other ones. Checking with the multimeter would have confirmed to me, in my mind, that it was a good part, and I would have stuck this back in. However, because we know it's a bad part, the only reason we know it's a bad part is because we engaged the parts cannon. However, there is a device called a growler that you can put these onto, and they induce a magnetic field into the silicon, high permeability silicon steel laminations, which induces a voltage in the coil, what you can measure. You can also measure with just a hacksaw blade to see if the thing is rattling. It's called a growler, and it's a little bit beyond the scope of, you know, just the home shop. I think I will buy one just for tits and pickles. So we need to rely on another thing to troubleshoot this, which is experience, and also the nose-nosed. Just give it a whiff, and you can smell that some of the insulation has been burned off of it. Now, the other thing it could be is it could be a mechanical problem. Maybe the fan is rubbing. Maybe something else is rubbing. So we have a good look at it. Nothing else is rubbing. Now, the bearings might be a little bit stiff. So how you check a bearing is you cannot check a bearing by merely spinning it. You need to put some load on it. So how do we do that? We preload with our fingers, give it a good 20, 30 pounds, and feel around. If that bearing is not long for this life, you will feel chunkage. That is not the case in the front. That is not the case in the back. Getting back to the whys and the wherefore, how this meter is going to cock you over. We got to understand what test this is actually performing. And all multimeters are voltmeters. They just extrapolate how many, it's just reading volts, but there's some software in there to extrapolate how many amps if you're in the amp scale, or how many ohms if you're in the ohm scale. So in the ohm scale, what it's doing is it's actually putting out a very small voltage, probably in this case either 1.5 or 3 volts, and an exceedingly small amount of current. It measures how much voltage drop is occurring through whatever you're measuring with that tiny amount of current, and extrapolates from there how many ohms. This is an oversimplification, but essentially that's what it's doing. So the problem, of course, is when you have a teeny tiny wire, and you have a teeny tiny amount of voltage and a teeny tiny amount of current, you're not able to actually measure what the resistance of that circuit is. So in this case, what we would need to do is put high current through there and then measure the voltage drop. That is where your ohm meter is going to fail you. When you need a high current, motors are high current, and potentially high voltage source. So we got our handy dandy power supply. Can't stress enough how much of a great tool this is, charging batteries, recovering stuff. It's also a good troubleshooting tool because this will put out high current. Well, high current at low voltage. We're 2.5 volts here, and she's putting out 7 amps. Now we see the voltage drop across there is 0.8 volts. According to this, we don't know what it actually is because this thing's all kind of cattywampus. But what we're looking for is not ultimate accuracy. It's just changes. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing as we did with the meter, but we will hopefully see where the fault lies. So we get a 1 volt drop across that one. We're at 0.8. We're at 0.8. We're at 1.1. Now we're at 1.3. Now we're back to 0.7. Now we're 0.8. Now we go back and reconfirm here. Yeah, 1.3. Okay, so we know that there is a huge difference in the voltage drop between checking on this comm bar versus that comm bar. That there's a huge difference there is indicative of a problem, and we can see that problem. It's overheated and the thing's hoopa-jooped. You got to watch that when you're doing ohm measurements. When you're doing resistance measurements, it can cock you over good and proper because you're not measuring at a high current. You're measuring at a very low voltage and a very low current. And it just doesn't show up a lot of problems. In order to show those actual operational problems, you need to give it some current. So you do that with a proper DC power supply. And then you can check the voltage drop and see if there's any differences there in the voltage drops. And then you know the thing ain't no fucking good. Chuck it right in the fucking bucket. So thanks for watching. Keep your dick in a vice.